We're here for case number 8304, Linda Harlow versus the City of Mango Park. Ms. Harlow, can you come to the podium, please? Okay, I've been given a notice that we do not have a representative for the city here. Actually, it's the zoning department. You're filing an appeal against the zoning department. Okay, okay, I see here that you have fines levied against you. What is this?
Well, Judge Porter, I started building a small little, like an apartment on my property. And it was because I needed help with funds, actually. My husband left me for a younger woman. And you see, I did not have enough money to take care of property. He did leave me the property, though.
What type of property are we talking about here?
It's my home. I mean, thank God he left me the home. But, you know, with the taxes and all of the expenses, I just can't take care of it myself.
Okay, now I just want to, because I'm trying to get it. I don't want to assume anything, so I'm trying to get a vision of what we're talking about here. When you say he left you a home on the property, okay, a home could literally be almost anything. So what type of home are we talking about?
Well, my home with my husband was the same.
Or is this a house?
Yes, a house.
Okay, is it within a residential area?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. How big is this? How big is this property that this house is on? Because you said that you're building an apartment?
Yes, well, there was enough room to have, you know, an extra driveway.
Okay. So you have a decent amount of land where this home is located for your property, and you're building. Okay, when you say an apartment, how many rooms or how many dwellings, I should say, rather, for this apartment? I'm just curious.
Well, yes, it was 2 stories.
You're building a 2-story dwelling on your property. Okay. How many dwellings, give or take? 1, 2,
well,
3,
it would
4?
just be for one.
It'd be for one?
Yes, just to help with some extra income.
All right, I got that. So what's the problem with the zoning department?
Well, I guess it's only zoned for one family, and I was going to do rentals because I needed the extra income.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple, and it is my property.
Okay. All right, I got the part where it's your property, but they filed, the city hit you with fines.
Yes, they had a stop work order.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking at the stop work order. Now we're getting to the good part.
$5,700. And
okay.
I have already spent $80,000 on this beautiful little apartment.
You said you've already invested $80,000 into this apartment. Why do you keep saying apartment? See, that's what throws me off. When I think apartment, I'm thinking like multiple dwellings and stuff like that. So it's just one structure that's 2 stories high on your property.
Yes.
Okay. And the city fined you and they said, hey, you can't do that. Any idea why they told you why you can't do that?
I'm not sure. I mean, you know, it is my constitutional right to do whatever I want with my property.
Okay, that is not your constitutional right, but continue.
Well, then I must be misinformed. I thought that
I'm pretty sure there's nothing in the Constitution that gives you the right to build on your own property. I've read it a few times. There's nothing in there that refers to anything like that.
Well, I thought if I own the property and I have the deed, that I can do as I want with my property. And honestly, Judge Porter, I just couldn't afford all the fees.
Okay. When the inspector came and told you, hey, you can't do this, What did you do?
Well, he would not listen to any of my concerns.
What was your concerns?
Well, I explained to him that I was just going to be renting it out, maybe, 6 months at a time.
Okay. Were you going to make this like a share, one of those share rental type places?
Yes. I thought maybe, yes.
Okay. Are you aware of the fact that that in itself is against the city ordinance? You can't do that in this town?
Well, I wasn't aware of it right away. No.
Okay. You can sign a 1-year lease, to have a resident, but the sharing, the property sharing or whatever they call it, you can't do that. That's against city ordinance. I didn't know if you knew that part or not. But now let's get back to the thing at hand about the fines for this construction project. When they told you you can't do this, what did you do?
I ignored them because I felt that I had the right to take care of myself on my own property.
So an inspector from the zoning department says that you're in violation of zone laws, and you basically said, forget you, I'm going to build it anyway. And then they fined you. After they fined you, and it's more than one, I can see right there. You continue building even after they fined you? Am I getting that correctly, ma'am?
Well, I just didn't stop.
I could see that.
I already spent $80,000.
$80,000. Okay. Oh boy.
I mean, Judge Porter, what if I do just do a year lease?
Okay, but the problem is the structure. This isn't an issue with having a resident lease the complex for a year or 2 years or whatever the case may be. The problem is something within the structure itself. You had to get permission from the city to build that particular structure. There's zoning laws in place, and the zoning laws are in place for various reasons. Okay, let me help you with this so you can understand, because you said your property. Let's say, I don't know, you want to build an airport on your property.
Oh, but that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. You want to build a structure there so planes can land. And you agree that that's ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure your neighbors would agree. That's ridiculous. Why is she being allowed to do that? There are zoning laws in effect to prevent people from doing stupid stuff like that. Now, granted, your property may not be that big where you can land an airplane or a small aircraft, but you kind of see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, but that's excessive, Judge Porter.
Okay, but the zoning laws are in place to prevent certain structures from going up. Plus, they have to make sure that that structure is safe. That's why they have zoning, even if it's residential. This is why when you want to put an addition to your home, okay, you have to get it approved by the zoning department to make sure that the structure itself, that the blueprints, everything lines up with law.
Well, my inspector said everything was sound.
Your inspector?
Yes.
Did your inspector check with the Mango Park zoning department to make sure it's sound according to the plans? Because it does. Apparently, that's not what happened here. Because if it did, you wouldn't have these fines and you wouldn't have this order to stop you from building.
Well, now what am I supposed to do?
You're going to have to tear that structure down. I'm sorry.
Judge Porter, you're asking so much. $80,000 is a lot of money, especially for somebody who's retired like I am.
I'm not asking you anything. I'm telling you what the law says. You violated the zoning laws and put up that structure. Even when they told you you couldn't do it, you were like, I'm going to build it anyway. It's my property. It's my, in your words, constitutional right. I understand it's your property, but you just can't build anything on your property. That's not how it works.
It just doesn't sound fair to me.
Okay. What sounds fair to you?
I don't know. When you when you own your property, I think you should be able to do as you wish. I'm not making a hotel property.
Okay, so let me ask you this question.
I'm just asking for one renter to come.
Let me ask you this question. You live in a residential neighborhood. What happens if your neighbor across the street decides that they want to put these big lights on top of their house that flashes their name, and it flashes every 5 minutes their name and these big bright lights. And let's say that this structure is about, 50 feet high. At 2 o'clock in the morning, it's blinking, blinking, blinking. Would that be excessive or?
Of course, that would be excessive.
So they would have a zoning department to prevent stuff like that from happening. For example, if you continue to build that structure and it's an unsafe structure and it collapses and people die on your property.
Well, the inspector was not very nice. And I suspect...
Your inspector or the city inspector?
The city inspector.
Okay.
And I think it's because I had a call about a neighbor who was being excessively loud in our neighborhood. So, were they blinking? No.
What does the loud neighbor have to do with the zoning? I don't
know. Maybe they were just angry and they called the inspector on me or something.
Uh-huh. So the 2-story structure that's being built where everybody can see it, that wasn't a clue as to maybe, I don't know, she might be building something there that's illegal.
Probably. There's just a lot of chatter in the neighborhood.
I would imagine that the inspector driving by and seeing that structure being built, that would probably catch their attention. I'm just going to throw that out there. So here's the thing. You wanted to have your fines waived. That is not going to happen.
They only gave me 7 days.
7 days for what?
To pay the fine.
I suggest you pay those fines. I also suggest that you find a way to tear that structure down.
Oh, my Lord.
Or that's probably going to end up being more fines.
It's a catastrophe.
Would you rather the city bankrupt you?
I don't know. I'm probably going to go bankrupt anyway.
Well, ma'am, I understand that you were, don't get me wrong. First off, I'm sorry that your husband left you for another woman. That's messed up. Okay? Okay. But the other thing is, don't put yourself in a situation where you're trying to beat the system. You ever heard the saying, you can't beat City Hall?
Yeah. I might have to sell and just go live in an old age home. I don't know.
Well, ma'am, the thing is, the structure has to come down. I don't know how much it costs to bring a structure down. I don't know how much work you put up. $80,000. I know you said you've invested $80,000. I don't know how much it costs to bring a structure down. Okay, but I'm telling you, you're going to have to bring that down. The city's going to kill you in fines. And they're going to keep fining you until that structure is gone. Okay, and I'm sorry you have to go through that, but that's kind of your own fault because they told you no, and you said, I'm going to do it anyway. It's my property. You can't stop me.
Judge Porter, I don't think this is fair. All of the people who are on Social Security are going to be knocked out of their homes.
How do you figure that?
Because who can afford to pay for all of the things that we have to pay for?
Okay.
I just don't think it's fair.
Okay. I understand that you don't think it's fair, but here's the thing.
It's $5,700 within 7 days.
Okay.
And then $80,000 that I already put down on the whole thing, and you're telling me to knock it all down. I can't believe that you would do this to me.
Ma'am, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I didn't do a damn thing to you. Okay. When that zoning department inspector came to your house and told you that this was a violation, okay, they told you, you cannot do this. You made that choice to continue building. You did that. When they came again and they fined you again and said, you need to stop, you continued building. That was you. You did that. You made the decision to pour that $80,000 into that structure, even though the city said, ma'am, you cannot do that. I didn't do anything to you, okay? If I was there, I would have tried to convince you and say, hey, lady, if I was you, I wouldn't do that. You continue to push and push and push, and now the city pushed back, and now you're here and you're saying, hey, can you help me out? There's nothing the court can do for you. You broke the law. You did that. You did this to yourself. Don't sit here and come to my court and say that we're responsible. And then you have the audacity to sit there and say it's Social Security people who are suffering because of stuff. There are people who are on Social Security who can't afford a home. You have a home. There are people on Social Security who can't afford the money to build another structure on their property so they can get extra money. You can do that. So don't you dare sit in my courtroom and try to put the pain and suffering that they're going through and try to make it what you're going through, because it ain't the same. People out here struggling. You're doing pretty okay because you can afford it. And you're saying, but I'm just like them. No, the hell you're not. What you are is you're somebody who's irresponsible, and you want to take advantage of your irresponsibility and try to put it on the court. And please, my husband left me. Don't you understand? I've already told you, I feel bad about that. If this was divorce court, I'd probably be ruling in your favor. But this ain't divorce court. This is civil court. You're responsible for what happened. Own it. Now get out of my courtroom.